keep right
Keep right to the end of the road. Keep right on to the end. Okay, so we're coming back at you with a new post-match video style, as I actually have some things written down on my iPad for things to be said in this post-match review. So, on my opinions of what happened in this game, I've got thoughts on all three of the goals, a couple of issues I had with the way the team played, and ratings for each player, and a couple of reasons why with some of the players, because some people might disagree with what I have to say. I just tell you the stats that I saw and what I saw. For the first goal, Camp could have saved it in my eyes. He got his hand to it, didn't get enough power behind the hand, could have pushed it wide, could have saved it, and defenders were not close enough to the attacker to try and stop him from shooting. For the second goal, Villalba was easily pushed off the ball. They ran straight past where Harding would have been. There was no one in that right position. They were all further over trying to defend other players. Ran straight through, put it in the top corner. I think Camp possibly could have done better to try and save it, but he probably wouldn't have saved it. It was a lot of power put in the top corner. That's all you can do. With the third goal, it was the penalty. I don't think there was enough defenders around the player to try and stop him when he's right on the edge of the box. So one of our defenders had to jump in and do a tackle to try and stop him, and ended up taking him out, which ended up, in my eyes, being the right decision, because he was trying to stop a goal. It would have been a goal otherwise. So he dived in, tried to stop it, tackled him, but took him out, ended up giving away a penalty. The penalty was pretty well struck, and I think was pretty unsavable, especially when Camp went the other way. So, those are the thoughts on the goals. Now, one of my biggest thoughts with this new style of football, dong ball, we are supposed to have a decent amount of possession, like Swansea did. Swansea played dong ball very well. And we only had 27% possession. If you told me every match this season we were going to have 27% possession, I would tell you we could possibly win about 5. Because I don't think you can go through a season only having about 27% possession and expect to win games. You just can't. You just can't. And we also had 0 shots on target and only 4 shots in the whole game. So you certainly can't be expecting to win matches when you're not having a shot on target, only having 4 shots in an entire match, of which 3 were blocked and 1 went wide from Duke, and 0 on target. You can't expect to win a match with that and hardly any possession. Now onto the players, and for 4 of them, I've got reasons why I've given certain ratings, because when I was speaking to people online, a lot of people were disagreeing with me. And obviously, it's my opinion versus your opinion. If you believe something completely different to me, you deserve to have that opinion. But this is my opinion. Lee Camp, I gave him a 6 out of 10. He made 2 good saves. He stopped a couple of goals, really. And I thought he made an error with the first goal, and that's why he isn't being given a higher rating. He possibly could have saved the second as well. So a 6, I feel, is a fair rating for him. It is one of 3 players who've been given a 6. Seddon got a 5. He only won 1 duel and lost possession 7 times over the 90 minutes. So he made a lot of mistakes in that 90 minutes. You can't be doing that. Also, Harding did the same on the other side, pretty much. Pedersen, I gave a 7. I gave him 7 basically because I had to give someone a higher rating to give him man of the match. I feel Pedersen would have deserved man of the match. He cleared that one off the line with his head. He made a couple of decent tackles. He put some decent passes in and tried to throw the ball forward and tried to get the players and the fans up for the game. I feel like he just deserved. He deserved it at the end of the day. Roberts got a 5. Now, this is one of them that I had a bit of an argument on Twitter about. His passing accuracy was 61%. He played 6 long balls and only got 2 successes. Now, with long ball, that's not how we've been playing. We're suddenly resorting back to playing long balls. Now, I'm not having a go at Roberts here, but he's one of the main culprits, really, of this. And it's clear that they've been told when they concede goals to start playing long balls. And then the strike force is just completely different and can't cope with just long ball, long ball, long ball, long ball, long ball. Because Dean did the same thing multiple times. He also tried to run forward and did some silly runs and lost possession. But Dean got a 5 as well. Harding was given a 4. He won 0 duels in the game. He had 6. So he didn't win possession back 6 times when he tried to. But he only actually won possession truly once. So I had to do something, but I think I'm going to go back to where I left off. Hopefully I didn't miss one. I'm going to go to the next, Villalba. I gave Villalba a 5. Now, he came up with a couple of chances. He made a few chances. He kind of tried to get the game to flow a bit. He didn't show over amounts of work like he did in the last game. He certainly has worked better at home in the games he's played so far. But he certainly wasn't the worst players on one of the worst players on the pitch, so he got a 5. He was close to a 6, but a few of his stats, he didn't do brilliant on statistics for passing and stuff. But yeah, 6 goes to Sunyik. Sunyik gets a 6, yeah. I thought Sunyik played quite well. He put a couple of decent balls in. He made a couple of decent tackles. He tried to be that solid holding midfielder and tried to play the ball around with his fellow midfielders like Villalba Davis. He tried to play it to those two, but it just didn't work. Yeah, pretty simple. It didn't work with the other two, but he tried and got a higher rating of a 6 because he gave it a go, and he certainly did his part. Davis, 5. Now, Davis was, well, as David Davis is, he was that player that 1 minute does something quite well and quite smooth and quite well, and some decent passing, some decent defending. Then the next minute he'll give the ball away doing a ludicrous run or ludicrous pass that isn't needed or called for. And that was kind of how I would describe him yesterday. He'd do that way too much. Way too many errors. And we can't be doing that in a game against a team such as Swansea, who are a decent class of opponent, the kind of opponent you do expect to be near, if not in playoffs, if not even automatic promotion. And the front two, I gave Duke a 6 and Jimenez a 5. Dukey, I gave him a 6 because I thought he put in his work. He didn't look fully fit to me. He did look a bit injured, but he put in 100% as he always does. He was trying to run around. He was trying to make some plays. He would run after the ball even if there was no chance of him winning it. He tried. He tried very hard, and he didn't give up. As Dukey does, he will run for 90 minutes non-stop if he's there. If the ball is played through to him, he will try and run onto it. He'll try and knock the ball down for people. He will try. That's why he gets a 6. I think he gets 6 for pretty much for effort. He tried, but sadly couldn't succeed, and he was the only one who bothered to try and put a proper shot in. And Jimenez gets a 5. He gets a 5 because I didn't fully notice him when he was on the pitch. And he didn't show and shine like some other players did. Whereas when he was off the pitch, you could tell he wasn't there. When he brought on Gary Gardner, for an example. When he brought on Gary Gardner for Jimenez, we were all very confused. We didn't agree with this substitution. That is when it went downhill. He may not have been fantastic, he may not have shown loads, but he's the kind of player who has the pace to try and pull back, pull and help the midfield and push slightly further back and be behind Duke and try and help him in that fashion. Whereas when we brought him off, it was like we went ultra defensive, but lost the player that was doing that role, being up front, coming back and moving back and forth. Because they had a couple of chances, yeah, while he was on the pitch, but they didn't look like scoring when he was on the pitch. Other than the one chance that Pedersen had it off the line. They didn't really look like they were going to score. So, they may have dominated that bit, but hey, he was missing when he came off. It was definitely a problem there. The three substitutes were Crowley, Gardner and Jude Bellingham. I gave Jude a 6 because he tried to run around, he tried to win the ball. He didn't really have enough time to make a difference when you're 3-0 down. One of them things. Same with Crowley. He got a 5 though. He kind of lost the ball a couple of times, but he was trying to run around, trying to make some tackles, and couldn't really get anything from the players on the pitch. And a 5 to Gary Gardner, as I think when he came on, everything kind of switched. The mentality of the team switched, and that didn't work. I'm not a full fan of the way the tactics are working at the current moment. The formation, the way it was at the start of the game, was working vaguely okay. We didn't have loads of possession. We didn't make loads of chances, but they didn't look like scoring. When he changed it and put the extra midfielder in and less striker, it just didn't work. The holding of the ball didn't work. Keeping the ball didn't work. Nothing worked. So far, if you include all of our away games, including Portsmouth, we've conceded 9 goals and scored 1. Got 3 points from away games that I can remember. Yeah, we scored. The only goal we scored was away against Brentford in a game that everyone said we didn't deserve anything from, but we got 3 points, luckily. Losing 3-0 against Forest, 3-0 against Portsmouth, 3-0 against Swansea. We need to get rid of this 3-0 thing, for starters. But we need to try and take the team back a few steps to move forward, if you get what I mean. Because there was a few errors that could have been sorted with simple little changes. Obviously, Maxime Collin being injured. I'm not over the top anti-Harding, but Harding just didn't suit that right wing back role. He suits the right back role more than he does right wing back. Roberts just didn't look right with someone who's just been brought in to play right wing back on that right side, and then him there, and that's where all the flow in the hole was. They need to work together. They need to learn to play as a duo. They need to work together, simple terms. And the other issue in the defence was, I don't think Harley Dean seems a captain this season. When he didn't have the captain's armband last season, he was sensational. He was really, really good, high-quality player. But it's like he's got a burden on top of him. He's like he's got the weight of the world on top of him, and the whole team, it drags him down. And it just doesn't look like it's working. So we might need to look at the idea of possibly giving someone else a captaincy for a game or two and try to get him back to what he was before the captaincy, as the team does not look the same at all. But hopefully they can have it drilled into them within the next week, get over this 3-0 loss thing, and get 3 points against Stoke, who we really need to get it against because they are bottom of the league. They can't win and they can't score goals. But now I've said that, they'll probably get 3 points against us. But home game against Stoke, hopefully we can get the victory. Hopefully we can move back into proper form again and start playing well again. Keep on.